Get the other seat. Struggled this entire season. The Hawks at the bottom of the league, 1-9. The Lakers 2-8 on a one-game losing streak. So two teams right at this point in the year playing for a bit of pride and playing to get a little confidence back to carry over into next season.
Where you got? Get him up! Get him up! There you go, Jay. Where you got? Where you got? Deny,
So Jim, two teams that have struggled tremendously, two teams that are in rebuilding years. A lot of young players, a lot of players trying to get their feet established in this league. I mean, what gets them going? What's going to motivate you at this point in the year with nothing really to play for?
Coaching. The players are starting to, feel it. Their season's starting to wind down. They really only have a couple weeks left. That's guaranteed. So the coaches have to keep these players' heads up. They're still young kids. They're going to want to win and go on to the playoffs. Right now they might feel that playoffs is more important, but they have to realize that now is the time. They have to savor these moments. They're playing. This is a fun league. They got to enjoy themselves now, and the coaches have to put that in their minds.
As Terrence Nolan hits from downtown, and he's one of the real very solid, young, up-and-coming talents in this league. We've seen Terrence Nolan have a couple real solid games, and there's no doubt about it. He can hit that open jump shot.
As we see the Lakers looking to inbound, a couple players that are on my mind looking into this game are the Jean brothers, John and Johnny. John in particular, I've noticed, has had great hands in the second half of the season. I've seen him steal the ball a lot, take it the distance, execute. Johnny has a very similar game plan, as you can imagine, with the two guys growing up together, playing in the same court probably. But I've just seen John execute a little bit more this season. I'd like to see Johnny get those points on the board for his team.
And neither of the Jean twins starting in this game. Quite surprising, seeing that both of them are kind of the backcourt anchors of the Lakers team. Both of them know how to get out on the break. Both of them know how to finish in the open court. And a real key for the Lakers will to be get Calliston Huggins going, their big man, by far the tallest player in this league, a guy that has the ability to have a presence down low.
Well, Elias, ability is the key word there. He's a tall guy. That can only get you so far. It's definitely one leg up, but if you want to keep climbing those stairs, you got to put the hustle in, get those knees pushing so you can jump higher, man. Just because you're tall doesn't mean you don't have to jump. I'd like to see his arms extended at all times, always moving. You got to get it going, buddy. I mean, come out.
There you go, Huggins, hold on to the ball, and Carl now out on the fast break, can't find Terrence Nolan, and he overthrows the intended receiver. Oh yeah, we're playing basketball, my bad.
Football is over, although the NFL Combine's starting this week, Elias.
It is. And I think they put way too much stake in the 40 times, because, I mean, how many times in an NFL game is someone going to run 40 yards in one direction in a straight line? I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Speed is what they're pretty much trying to measure, and they give the 40 yards because they're trying to show stamina if they can go the entire 40 yards quick, and the breakaway speed right away as well.
But, I mean, NFL scouts put so much stake in that 40-yard dash, almost as much stake as the Wonderlic test, which is a complete joke. We're kind of off topic, but the Wonderlic is a test that quarterbacks take. It's kind of a basic test of your mental capacity. And we saw last year Vince Young fail miserably on 3 or 4 attempts, and then obviously he came out and won 6 games. 6 straight games for Tennessee. So now Bunch initiating the offense for the Lakers. He takes a real tough shot, and Jace Carl comes up with a loose ball. Carl now. The ball is deflected by Huggins.
Good job attempting there by Weaver at Lahens. We see Lahens sporting the fresh mohawk today.
Oh, very smooth.
Well,
with the Gene players out, as you mentioned, we have Deshaun Bunch going from the top of the key for this Lakers team, and he's done a fairly good job for the Lakers this season.
And the Hawks are really in a rebuilding year. They finished in 2nd place 3 straight years, and this year they lost a couple real strong players from last season, one of them being Guess, the league co-MVP is gone.
Well, it's too late in the season to still be worrying about that stuff. You have to find your team now.
Now Terrence Nolan goes to the middle of the lane, kicks it out to Carl. The Rainmaker is way short.
He does not make it rain. Well, looking over to the scoreboard, Elias, I'm only seeing 3-1. Am I seeing that right?
We have a 3-1 ball game with 4 minutes to play in the first. And now Lahens goes to the line for 2.
Lahens not necessarily the best free throw shooter. He's only 31.6% from the line this year.
And we mentioned Terrence Nolan at the top of the broadcast, averaging 14.1 points per game. The only Hawks player averaging in double figures. Finally, we see one of the Gene twin brothers in the game, Johnny Gene, number 10. Very, very quick and speedy. Now bunched to the middle of the lane. A little jump stop, doesn't go. And Jim, we've seen Huggins all over the place. He's touching the ball quite a bit early on.
That's pretty much all he's been doing, though, Elias. Once he gets the ball, he's not finding his teammates, and if he's not finding his teammates, at least put the ball in the air. Keep the ball above all the other short Hawks players, because you're certainly taller than the entire team, for certain. I mean, the only guy that even compares close is Dave Israel, number 1.
And playing basketball at any level, the NBA included, if you're a big man, you get a rebound, you want to keep the ball high above your head and put it right straight back up towards the basket. You don't want to bring it down. Bunch that time with a nice little fadeaway jumper.
Great shot by Bunch. Bunch has the ability to shoot anywhere on the court, hand in your face or not.
So it's 5-3. Hawks up by 2 here early on. 3 minutes to play in the first quarter.
So certainly, Elias, the thing to look for in this game is offense now. And that's it right there. That'll get you, any three-pointer in this game will prove huge.
And that's Terrence Nolan, the man we've been talking about. And he has the potential to be someone that's going to be dominating this league for many years to come.
Yeah, Nolan definitely does know how to hit from beyond the arc. He leads his team with 15 three-pointers this season.
And it looked like Johnny Gene had an open look at the basket. He couldn't hit the layup, but he was fouled in the act.
I mean, really,
so we'll go to the line.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but really only Bobby Skane of the Celtics has more threes than Nolan, and Skane pretty much leads in everything. So For a Hawk player to be at the top in any category is pretty big for them.
So Bunch has struggled from the line thus far. In 22 attempts, he's only 27%. That's 6 out of 22 as he misses the second. Now Terrence Nolan will bring the ball across the timeline. Behind the back, some nifty moves from Nolan. So pretty good ball rotation that time by the Hawks, but nothing came of it.
You say pretty good ball rotation, but that's really not what they're trying to do, Elias. They want to push. I hear Coach all over the place just trying to say push the ball, get past this slow Laker team. Now, especially slow with the Jean brothers out. You got to take advantage of that. Only one of the two Jean brothers in the game right now.
So Morose could not hit on the other possession, and now Bunch back, guarded by Morose. Bunch taking it all the way to the rack, but it doesn't go after all that work.
That's exactly what the Hawks need to do.
And Kevin Liu in the open floor that time.
Finding the open man, hustling down court. Pretty much giving a present to him for all that hustle.
So 1 minute now to play here in the opening quarter of this contest.
I mean, that's what I was saying about Johnny Jean. He knows how to get to the basket, but he's just got to get those to fall.
Morose.
Good job there by Huggins on the rebound. Goes up and gets both hands on the ball. Oftentimes, I see him just try to get one.
Now Hager with a nice little fadeaway move. So 22 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. Morose is off the mark with that one, and Bunch comes up with a loose ball.
Morose had all day to shoot that three, and even after he missed it, he was able to just stand. I mean, all he did was just stand around. He could have been able to get his own rebound.
So under 5 seconds to go, the Hawks with the last shot here in the first quarter. They get it off from Nolan. It doesn't go. And after one quarter here at the Ferryway School in Malden, the Hawks up 10-6. And although this is not a high-scoring affair, it has been pretty sloppy. But, I mean, both teams hustling out there, both teams playing for pride, and both teams trying to get a win. There's no doubt about that.
Elias, these guys just got to have fun at this point. I can't stress it enough. This is what this league is all about. I want to see some smiles on these guys' faces. Now, of course, you want to see the hustle and you want to see the drive. But I think if these guys' spirits can be lifted, their points can be lifted as well.
Oh, that was a nice job.
Thank you.
And this is a Hawks team that has a very long and storied history. They won 3 out of 4 years in the late 80s and early 90s. Winning championships, that is, but they've been on quite a drought. 12 years now without a championship for this Hawks team.
Well, you got to give the Hawks a break. I mean, they weren't in the league for a few years. They had to drop out of the league, and they only came back a few years ago. So that streak really isn't as bad as it seems.
And on the other side, the Lakers, they can still smell their championship of 2005, but a long way from another one, just trying to get back to the level where they can compete with the upper echelon of this league. So here we start the second quarter. The Hawks with a 4-point advantage, and Nolan with a little mid-range jumper doesn't go.
Keep working, boys. Keep working. Good work.
Nolan needs to learn that if it doesn't work the first time, it's probably not going to work the second time. Try to find a different shot.
And a nice aggressive move towards the basket, that time by Lou. And that's really what all you can hope for if you're a Hawks fan here today. Aggressive moves towards the basket and try to convert from the free throw line.
That time Lou went to the basket away from Huggins. Huggins was on the strong side of the basket. Lou was on the far side, the weak side, and he noticed that, was able to go to find that little crease. And Huggins probably wouldn't have fouled him because he's so much taller than him. All he had to do was extend his arms, and he would be able to block the ball because he's that much taller. But when the other guys are trying to go down low, such as Gomez and the other players, they're not going to be able to stop it just like that, and that's what causes the foul.
And Lou, 39% from the free throw line this season, hits 1 out of 2. And Gene drives all the way to the basket, and Huggins making his presence felt, but he can't finish with the point-blank layup. And here comes Lou back the other way. Now the ball in the hands of the Hawks playmaker, Terrence Nolan, picks up his dribble. Lou makes a lackadaisical move towards the basket, and Gene picks his pocket to his brother. Nice job.
Indeed, that was a great play by the Gene brothers there, going, teaming up on that. Jack Generazio.
And just watching this Lakers team run the floor, Jim, it's a real pleasure. They're very quick. They can handle the ball. And it kind of puts a damper on the whole situation when you miss a wide-open layup. And in the open floor, it's quite impressive.
The thing about both of these teams is...
Generazio shuffled his feet.
The thing about both of these teams, Elias, is they really need to work on their shot selection. You see, sometimes it may seem like an open shot at the time, but if the player can't shoot from that range, it doesn't matter.
So now 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. The Hawks with a 5-point advantage, 13-8.
I'm not seeing those smiles, Hawks.
Now Morose with a little stop and pop. It's off the front of the rim. He gets his own rebound, the little man. Now Gene in the open floor, a little jump stop. Nice move that time. He lets the defender fly by, and an easy layup that time by Gene. The Lakers cut the deficit to 3. Nolan top of the key. That time a foul called on John Gene. And the Lakers take a timeout with 5:50 to play here in the first half. 13-10, the Hawks on top by 3. And although we're looking at two of the teams that are hovering around the bottom of the league, I'm not going to lie, it's an entertaining style of basketball. The up and down style, very different than the game we saw earlier, which was much more of a half-court battle between the Kings and the Celtics.
Yeah, certainly very entertaining because the fast pace always brings entertainment. You know, the faster it is, the more exciting you get to keep the eyes going back and forth, back and forth. I feel like it's tennis. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. And I mean, it's fun watching the Gene brothers run a fast break because they know how to do it. They do it well. And even though they don't finish sometimes, I mean, they know how to make the moves in the open floor. And both of them are real good ball handlers, which doesn't hurt.
Those two, along with Bunch, I'd like to see them be a great 1-2-3, pretty much combo on the fast break. If they could get the touch passes going, they're unstoppable. At least they have the potential to be.
The Lakers have a real nice foundation in their backcourt for years to come. Those three players that you mentioned all have a lot of potential. Generazio with a little 18-footer doesn't go, and here comes Gene as we talk about him. Skying towards the basket, nice little floater off the glass.
Good choice to take it himself that time. His teammates were flushed underneath with all the other defenders. If you have the best shot, take it.
JJ passes to Gene, and Generazio picks it off.
Yeah, that pass came too late. John was already too close to being underneath the basket. He had to give it up. He wasn't able to put it up to the basket himself.
Morose got it.
Tremendous.
So now a 4-point lead for the Hawks, 16-12. Gene turns down the wide open look of the basket in favor of a Huggins hook shot that is nowhere near the rim. But luckily for the Lakers, the ball goes off a Hawks defender. Bunch now from the right wing. Nice little jumper there. Vince Carter-esque with the right leg in the air. As the NBA trade deadline came and went, really nothing to speak about. Vince Carter was on the trading block, but him and teammate Jason Kidd didn't go anywhere. They stayed put.
Well, the Lakers weren't willing to give up the players that the Nets wanted, and that's pretty much what it came down to.
I mean, Andrew Bynum, a 19-year-old, is such an upside that there's really no way the Lakers were going to even think about shipping him. Because, I mean, that guy, he could be in the league for 20 years as one of the premier players.
Another trade that, at least potential trade, that I thought was going to go down was Paul Gasol in Memphis. The Grizzlies pretty much need, help any way they can get it. And whether it be draft pick, whether it be a veteran, and Paul Gasol asked to be traded. He no longer wants to be on that lowly Memphis ball club. The Bulls were looking to get him, but
the Bulls wouldn't give up Luau Deng, and that's really who Memphis wanted in exchange for Gasol.
And if the Celtics weren't dropping as low as they are right now, they would have been a name to reckon with in the Paul Gasol case. But pretty much right now they want to stick with the team they have, get a good draft pick, keep the camaraderie going, stick with the players you have.
We have a tie ball game here at the Ferryway School in Malden. 2:40 to play here in the first half. A real up and down, real fast-paced ball game thus far. Neither team really stepping up and taking command of the ball game as Bunch gets the ball in the fast break. Gene, the middle of the lane with the right hand.
You can see Gene and Bunch on each other on that play. He saw Bunch cutting right away. He was able to find him. Smooth motion.
Smooth like water. So as we have a timeout now with just over 2 minutes to play in the first half, 18-16. Lakers with a 2-point advantage in this one. And the crowd here at the Ferryway School has filed out a little bit after our first showdown of the day.
Yeah, a little surprising to see them just come in for that fourth quarter of that prior game. I would have liked to have seen them stay and support these two teams.
There you go. So 2 minutes to play. We'll see if either team can try to pull away a little bit going into the half, as Nolan is off the mark with a long
shots
jumper.
like that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's not going to happen with quick shots like that. You got to pass it around until you find the best shot. That was too quick.
Slow it down.
The thing I noticed with both of these two teams, they take a lot of their shots on the run. They really don't find a way to be able to come around picks and set their feet, get the right pass going to get the best shot off that they can get.
Well, I get the feeling that the ball handler, whoever that may be for both teams, is kind of in isolation every single possession. There's really no semblance of any sort of half-court game.
Look at James, DJ!
The shot put from beyond the arc is way short. And the Lakers now trying to extend their 2-point advantage as Jean goes to the middle of the lane. And a heads-up play that time by Gomez. He's been on this Lakers team for 3 years, a real staple of the team at this point.
And he's proved that with the minutes. I've been surprised to see him get as many minutes as he has in this ballgame. I don't think he's come out once.
And another hustle play by Gomez. So 45 seconds to play here. The Hawks down 2 with a chance to tie or take the lead with the 3. Losing a lot of traffic. And Bunch comes up with the loose ball, wide open layup. Nice hustle play that time from Bunch. 20 seconds to play, Lakers up 4.
Well done there. Bunch was starting to go left side. He realized, hey, I'm a righty, maybe I should go strong side. That worked out a little better for him.
And Nolan lost his footing that time and turns it over. So 10 seconds to play, now down to 8 seconds. Lakers trying to extend their lead. Bunch goes coast to coast, but it doesn't go. Jean with the putback. And so the end of the first half, a very low-scoring half, a very up-tempo first half, a lot of energy. And we go to halftime, the Lakers on top, 20-16. Welcome back to the Ferryway School in Malden at the half. The Lakers on top by 4 over the Hawks. And Jim, a very up-tempo, up-and-down game the entire time. Is it going to be much of the same, or do you think they're going to come out and do you think either team is going to try to establish some sort of half-court game?
Well, Elias, that's how these two teams have been playing most of the season. I really don't expect much of a change, but if one of those two teams was able to find the half-court offense, I believe that will be the team that can take control of this ball game.
We saw the Hawks with a couple very good young players. Terrence Nolan, the leader on that team, averaging 14 a game. I mean, what do you see from him? He has a lot of potential to be a star in this league for a long time.
Certainly you see potential in Nolan and most of this Hawks team. I mean, they're a very young team, but if you want to reference Nolan in particular, he has a great outside shot. I don't really like to see him. He doesn't really have the size yet. He can get that size to go to the basket, but right now I want to see him stick to the outside and work on his outside game.
Well, stay with us. We'll be right back with second half action in just a moment. The Lakers are up by 4, 20-16.
Second half, Hawks and Lakers. Lakers have a 4-point lead. It's 20-16. Hawks will start this second half with possession. Hawks definitely trying to get the passing game going around the rim. They can't hit the shot there. Lakers with ball. Here comes Deshaun Bunch, number 3. Tries to get it inside to LeSue, but there's a high group of Hawks to just knock it away. Lost out of bounds. Last touch by the Lakers. Wild shot. Doesn't hit anything. John Jean.
And
wants to make a move for himself.
Excuse me, Jim. For Coach Beatty, he has a different rotation in there to start the second half than he did in the first. Generally, a coach will have the same starting 5 to start the game and in the second half.
LeSue made the basket and one. He'll go to the line. And we haven't seen exactly the most characteristic Beanie this game. And by characteristic, I mean crazy. Elias, is it just because of the matchup or what's going on?
You know, I think regardless of the record, regardless of the Lakers' record at 2-8, they're having a very poor season. Beanie is always enthusiastic about the game. And I mean, I'm sure he'll pump it up a little bit here in the second half.
Well, we sure hope so. 3 ball does not fall. Here comes Bunch. Bunch goes coast to coast, tries the finger roll, does not work. Delayaquano comes up with the rebound. They can't get the second chance points, and the Hawks push. Nolan baseline. Delayaquano. Lakers can't get a playoff in time, and they get called a 3-second violation. That turnover will give the ball back to the Hawks, Elias.
And Terrence Nolan will sit down now, just 3 minutes into the third quarter.
Near steal by the Lakers. Hawks have numbers if they try. LeSue with the big rejection, but he got arm along with the ball. He'll get called for the foul.
And that time, Lou Asso came from the weak side, trying to contest Lou's shot, but didn't go straight up and was called for the foul.
Lou can't make it a 3-point game. Lakers will try to extend their lead here. They're up by 4. It's 22-18. And yet another 3-second violation. That's 2 in a row. Elias, what are the Lakers doing wrong with their defense right now?
Well, the Lakers are playing, they're in a zone defense right now. They're playing a 2-3. 2 guards up at the top, and their 3 bigger men down low.
Now their defense has been poor to say the least this season. Do they need to make an adjustment, or will this type of defense generally work for most teams?
Since the Lakers have a very small team on the floor right now, with the exception of Callista and Huggins, with a small team, it works to your benefit to play a zone, simply because there's generally a lot of matchup problems, and the zone can solve a lot of those issues very easily.
Jean with the rebound over to LeSue. LeSue can't hit. Lou of the Hawks with the ball now, crosses the plane. Baseline jump shot, no good. Here comes John Jean. Calling the play. Down low to LeSue. LeSue kicks it back out. Huggins over to Jean. Short. Johnny with the rebound. Can't put it back. Delayaquano. Many chances for the Lakers, but none of those chances come through with the basket. foul on the play.
And with Terrence Nolan on the bench, I'd like to see the Hawks trying to get Dave Israel involved. He's a very tall, lanky, young player with a lot of potential, and I mean, just by looking at his jump shot, you can tell he has real good form, and with a little bit of coaching, Israel could be a very competitive player in this league.
Hens fresh in the game with the fresh haircut. Ball swatted all over the place. Hawks finally come up with the loose one. Morose tries to kick it back out. Can't find Lou. Instead, he throws it out of bounds. Back Lakers' way.
That time, Morose, it looked like he was moving a little too quickly. He didn't have his body in complete control, and his Hawks teammates were just standing around. He really had no one to pass the ball to.
Lakers swing it around, up one. Jean swings to the baseline. Nearly steps out of bounds, gets the shot off, can't get it to fall. Gets the steal, Delaiacano floater. No. Hook shot, no good. Hager was looking for the foul. Lakers tip it out of bounds.
And on that last Lakers possession, you saw Delaiacano, you saw Hager. They were both calling for the ball down low in the post, so we'll see if the Lakers perimeter players will be able to get them the ball in position where they can make a nice move towards the basket.
Well, one player they have been able to get it to has been Lassou. Johnny takes it himself left side.
And you like to see him finish when he gets a look like that. I mean, earlier in the season, both of the Jean brothers had a lot of problems finishing on the fast break, but after getting those early jitters out of their shoes, after the first few games, they've been much more effective and efficient in the open court.
That's the second time we've seen Bunch try to get that finger roll to go, and now the time has worked for him.
I know how that feels, though. That finger roll, if it doesn't roll off the right way, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. With the substitutions here, the Lakers are up 24-21, just over 2 minutes to go in this third period. Hawks will take a timeout here.
And Jim, we were shooting around at the half, and I noticed your shot is very, it's kind of like a shot put. I'm afraid to say. I mean, you did hit one off the glass, which was a nice job, but that shot put kind of formed from the chest outward is something that could be improved upon a little bit.
Oh, thank you for your analysis, Elias. I must say it has been at least a couple years since I've consistently taken to the court, as I've gone to the broadcast booth, but I definitely this spring and summer want to pick it up, and we'll take you on. I look forward to the matchup.
I'd be glad to accept the challenge, and then since my broadcasting career has sort of begun to establish itself as well, I've kind of shot away from the floor, but I'm sure to always fine-tune my engine, put a little double D40 on the joints, and I mean, if I need to knock down a J, I'm fully capable of hitting an 18-footer in someone's face. Let's not lie about that.
I don't know if we can get that set up for MATV. We'll see.
Maybe we could have some footage on Around the Rim at some point.
Yeah, that's right. They have the blog, the Around the Rim blog spot, where you can catch all the Around the Rims. Also, you can catch it on Channel 15 and Channel 3.
That's Thursday night at 7 with Nestor Dudley, of course. ATR, great programming, keeps you up to date with all the latest news, notes, and much, much more from the MNBL.
Well, we look to be guests hopefully upcoming soon.
Let it go after you travel.
And that's a matchup I really look forward to watching throughout the rest of this game is Calliston Huggins against Dave Israel, two pretty tall players and two guys that need to establish themselves as big players in this league. It almost as if both of them just had tremendous growth spurts and haven't quite grown into their bodies.
Kevin Liu drove to the basket on that last play. He was fouled. He'll shoot two here and try to bring his team back and take the lead. Makes only one of two, but it's good enough to tie this ball game. 24 apiece, just under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Lakers ball.
And on this Lakers possession, very good spacing, a lot of movement underneath the basket, but the Hawks are just playing real solid defense.
And once again, as we've seen, now being the third time against the Lakers, a 3-second violation.
That's like in football when the offensive line does a great job of giving the quarterback time, but the defensive backs just have such great coverage that it can't get the ball off. That analogy's kind of a stretch, but I was hoping it would work out.
I'll accept it. Bunch to the basket. Make that Johnny Jean. Bunch on the assist.
And JJ's rhythm and that fast break in that open floor is incredible to watch. You can tell they've been doing the fast break, 3-man weave in practice. One of the more traditional basketball drills.
Lakers once again have the lead. It's 26-24. We approach the 30-second mark.
What are we playing at? Here we go again.
Quick passes. Finally down low to Huggins. Huggins turns, shoots, fouled. Huggins, being the big man that he is, hasn't been the best from the free throw line this year, just under 30%, as most big men are.
And as a guard in this league, I've noticed that John Jean is a little hesitant to take the open jump shot. He feels much more comfortable when he's in rhythm, when he's coming off a pick, or when he's moving towards the basket.
As with most of this team, they definitely like to go on the run with their shots. Not very a set-footed shooting team.
But that's a good attribute, because, I mean, a long jump shot is a much lower shooting percentage, naturally, that comes from that.
Gomez tries to go ahead. It's stolen away by the Hawks. Lou wants to take it beyond the arc. Pulls up. Now needs help. Hawks have 5 seconds. They need to get a shot off. Lou from beyond the arc. Can't get it to fall.
And that was real nice shot selection that time by Lou. An open look at the top of the key, just didn't fall.
At the end of 3 quarters, the Lakers have a 2-point lead over the Hawks. It's 26-24.
And Jim, it's good to see that here with only a few weeks to play left in this season, 2 weeks to be precise after this weekend, both of these teams obviously completely out of contention, no chance of making the playoffs. They're not simply going through the motions. They're not simply coming out here with their heads down and not playing hard. Everyone on the floor wants to win.
That's what
and that says a lot about the MNBL guys coming out to compete, and not necessarily, even if you're not getting into the playoffs. I mean, it says a lot about these kids.
That's what you like to see, Elias, making the most out of your time on the court. Basketball is a fun sport, brings the people together, a very team-oriented sport. You always love to see the guys make the most out of their time. Josh Gomez for the Lakers inbounds to Deshaun Bunch to start this 4th quarter with the Lakers up 26-24. Bunch calling a play, directing his offense.
Josh Gomez, the only Lakers player to be on the team for 3 years. This is 3rd year in the league.
Gomez nearly comes up with the rebound there. Instead, it goes to the Hawks. Quick pick. Johnny Jean, left side, goes all around the rim, can't get it to fall.
You like that little stutter step that time by Jean? Looks like he was breaking down into a little tap dance move or something.
Hawks, it seems like they're starting to slow the pace down, Elias.
Well, that's something they're probably trying to work on right now, because, I mean, any team in this league can get out and run and score points in the open court like the Lakers are doing right now.
Oh! That time it does get to fall. It didn't fall for the Lakers last time when they went for the layup. This time they get the lucky roll. The Gene combo on the fast break proved successful.
But I was saying that it's much more difficult for 5 players to go out on the floor and have that discipline to run some form of an offense. I mean, everyone has a role. Everyone has to uphold that role. And it really does take a lot of discipline.
Josh Gomez with the steal. Ahead to John Jean, left side for 2. Lakers are up 31-24. Lahan's looking for the ball in the paint. Instead, Nolan goes up with the ball. There's a foul on the plate.
And it looked like Terrence Nolan was going to be called for a travel there. He was caught up in the air, and the referees bailed him out.
Maybe should have been. Here he is, baseline left side, no good. Hawks lucked out there, Elias. And coach is acknowledging that right now. When the ball goes in the backcourt, Elias, don't let the Lakers just run right by you, and you know you're going to get called with the backcourt violation, but at least allow yourself time to set your defense.
And the Hawks, just like that, slipping further and further out of this game, now down 7. And we've seen this happen many times before with the Lakers. In the second half, they come out with the head of steam, and their fast break really begins to take over the game, and the Jean brothers are the ones that initiate that whole process.
They've certainly stepped it up off the bench nonetheless today.
Some form of photosynthesis. It's kind of a gradual developing process that the Lakers team kind of goes through every game. It takes them until the second half to kind of get out, find their rhythm.
I must say, you are a versatile gentleman.
Hey, what can I say?
Morose to the basket, no good. Looks for his own rebound, Nolan gets it. He wants to take it himself this time. Can't get the shot off. There's a foul. Huggins, he picked up the foul. That's already 6 on the Lakers with just under 7 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. They could be in the 1-1 before they know it. Second free throw goes. It's 31-25. Stolen by the Hawks. Nolan wasn't really sure what he was doing with the ball there. Ended up giving it up. Bunch ahead to Jean. Huggins can't hold on to it. Hawks touchdown pass ahead to Nolan. He's fouled. And the basket, just as coach was saying, don't foul.
And that time, cherry picking did pay off for the Lakers.
Now Stevens can't fall. The day breaking.
And now it's a 4-point game. they could cut it to 3 or 2 here on this free throws. Nolan misses. He almost got his own rebound. It was knocked right out of his hands. Johnny Jean nearly gets it blocked. It's a hand slap foul.
And you could hear that contact all the way over here at the scorer's table.
Certainly.
The second game of a doubleheader here at the Ferryway School in Malden. Come by Saturday and Sunday. 3 games, 3 great basketball affairs in the MNBL every week. Following this weekend, we'll have 2 weekends to go before we start the playoff run. And the playoff weekend, it's really one weekend full of a lot of fun, a lot of basketball. I believe that's March 17th and March 18th.
That's right, they just pile it all into one fun-filled weekend. You said it starts on the 17th with the first round, games 1 and 2. Team 1 versus Team 4. Game 2 is Team 2 versus Team 3. Those are the seeds. And then Sunday, you have the All-Stars game versus the coaches. Then you have the three-point contest and the hot shot contest. And then to tap it all off at 3:45 is the championship game on March 18th.
So that weekend is something really to look forward to right around the corner. Just 3 weeks away. And still a lot of questions to be answered in this league about how this playoff picture will pan out. Some of those questions were perhaps answered earlier today when the Kings took the Celtics and now are in sole possession of first place in the MNBL.
31-29 Lakers. Hawks extend their pressure. Jean double teamed, looking for help. 10-second violation. Hawks succeed with their full court press. Lakers cannot get the timeout in time.
And now Coach Beatty walks all the way across half court.
He's not allowed to do that. He has to watch himself.
He's in front of the Hawks bench and he's asking for a technical. He's asking to be teed up right now, and the Hawks coaches are adamantly arguing for that cause.
The refs pretty much just shoo both coaches away, want the game to continue.
But at times, I mean, Coach Beanie does use that as a teaching tool. He's been known to get a technical foul as a way of pumping his team up, and I really don't blame him.
Morose from beyond the arc. Nolan tries to save it. Instead, it goes Lakers' way. Johnny hustling down right side. Loses the ball out of bounds. Back in the game comes number 1 Dave Israel for the Hawks.
And in a game that really has no playoff implications whatsoever, you see both sidelines barking and screaming, all adamantly involved in this game.
Nolan bounces all over the place, can't get it to fall. Gets his own rebounds. Looks for help in Lahens. Lahens just around the free throw line. That shot would have tied this ball game up. Instead, Lakers go length of the court, and there's a foul. Lahens actually ended up picking up the foul there. And just like that, Lahens is going to have to come out of this ball game because of that foul. Jack Generazio will come in for him, number 8. You see Calston Huggins at the line, can't hit the free throws. Misses both of them right there. Ball tipped out of bounds, stays Laker way. I'm sorry, Hawks way. But the Lakers get it back anyway. Here they go, Jean to Jean, too far lead of a pass.
I like the way the sounds, Jim. Gene to Gene, coast to coast, around the world. You can get. There's a lot of poetic appeal in that entire phrase.
Indeed, you see John Gene here can't get the basket to fall. Right back to where they were at the start of the season, not being able to make those open layups.
And
we thought they were starting to pick it back up, Elias. They haven't seemed to keep that momentum going for them as they've done in the middle to late part of this season.
And now with under 3 minutes to play here in the ball game, the clock will stop on the whistle. So as Nolan's at the line, 2:36 remains stagnant on the clock.
There was 6 to 8 inches long. I see him on TV and think it's
Nolan ties the ball game. Hawks hope their extended pressure can work once again. Nearly does there. Nolan almost comes up with a steal. Lakers with the timeout.
Pay it forward. You like it?
You didn't like it?
I did. I got The Departed last night. We haven't watched it yet. I said okay. You weren't paying attention, were you?
Well, Elias, now would be the time with just about 2:30 to go in this ball game for any more call-outs on your part.
With regards to what?
With regards to anything, with regards to our play.
Hey, I'm just saying. Jim, let's just set the record straight here. Jim has been challenging me for months now, saying that he could take me in one-on-one. And we have a couple
I wouldn't say months. I'd say maybe a month.
Maybe a month, but he hasn't seen my fine touch from beyond the arc. And quite honestly, I have a bigger kind of stature than Jim as well. So obviously, if I wanted to be a meanie, I could take you down to the post. But I won't do that. We'll go one-on-one. I'll take you out of the perimeter, and we'll really see.
I'm not asking you to change your game. You can play however you want.
Oh, now you're asking for trouble.
Johnny Jean, baseline for 2. Generazio loses the ball out of bounds. Bunch to Gene. Back to Bunch. Gene inside the arc. Short. Lou pushes up court. Stolen right away by John Gene. Here comes Bunch. He'll slow down the pace for this Laker team. Huggins. Right hand. Hook shot goes. That turnaround jumper worked very well for him that time.
And if Huggins can continue to do that, that nice little jump hook in the lane could be a real effective tool for him.
Dangerous. Generazio throws it up. Hawks keep possession as Delaware Akano tried to save it, but he stepped out of bounds.
As the Bullets team begins to make its way out of the locker room, the third game of our Saturday triple-header, the Bullets take on the Pistons. So the Pistons still have quite a large stake in this matchup. The Pistons fighting for a playoff spot.
Pistons had, I believe, a 7-game losing streak before they were able to win last weekend.
And there's a lot to look forward to with this Bullets team as well. A very young team that's obviously struggled this season, but the defending champions and a lot of young talent. It
was 6 or 7 games, just around that mark. But way too much. If you have that much of a losing streak in this season, it's very difficult to come back. Right now, they're a game and a half behind the 4th place Sixers. Lakers break the huddle with a 4-point lead. 1:03 to go in this basketball game. Lakers come out with both Jean brothers. You see Huggins, you see Delawaicano, and you see Bunch. That's pretty much who they've had to rely on for the second half of this ballgame. Somewhat of a different look from the first half. John. Here comes Lou. Nolan forces the shot up, gets it to fall.
Oh, and he could be used as a flotation device, and he pulls the Hawks to within 2.
Here comes Generazio, left side, ties the ball game at 35 apiece with 13 seconds left. Johnny Jean loses the ball but gets it right back. The ball game will go into overtime. 35 apiece. Lakers had their shot, couldn't get it to fall. And we'll see another 5 minutes.
And Generazio with an unbelievable finish off that steal by the Hawks with under 20 seconds to play. And we'll see our second overtime game of the day.
Elias, we're not going to get out of here until 9 o'clock tonight, the way these two games have been going. First game went into overtime. Now this game will go into overtime. You see the Hawks in their huddle now, much more concentrated, much more focused than we saw earlier. We saw the coaches yelling their heads off, trying to get the Hawks pumped up. Now that they're back in this ball game, and it's anybody's game, the score is pretty much wiped out at this point, Elias, with 5 minutes in this overtime. Hawks just have to play together, play as a team. Meanwhile,
after
the Lakers...
Generazio made that layup to tie the game, I heard a lot of moans and groans in the Ferryway School. A lot of people just wanting to go home without this extra period.
Well, nobody's keeping them here.
Nobody's keeping them here. We do our independent decision makers, but I mean, who would want to miss this overtime period? Two teams trying to get a W very badly.
Foul on the play.
And I tell you, the referees have had as much of a workout as anyone today. These two referees doing 3 games today. The second game now in overtime. As David Israel goes to the line.
Unbelievable victory earlier.
Israel misses both. They're still down by 2. Hawks extend their pressure.
So now
That was a horrible shot, by the way.
Well,
we're having a little photo shoot in front of us. You can see our smiling faces on the MNBL website.
Here comes Johnny to John to Johnny.
Give and go.
4-2, cannot get it to fall.
That was real good work. Don't do it. We're going over regular. That's what we haven't done yet.
Huggins trying to clean up the trash.
actually, and I yelled at him, why did you give it to him? I was doing work.
Here comes Morose. Backboard for 2.
You stay in the middle when you pass to the wing.
And this is the time where Morose needs to start to take over. Morose, the second leading scorer on this Hawks team. Morose averaging 7.8 per game.
I was trying to get open.
That time the Lakers do get the roll, and they take the lead right back. It's 39-37. 2:40 to go in overtime.
And it wouldn't be a stretch to say, Jim, that the Jean brothers single-handedly have dictated the pace of this ballgame.
Morose wants even more. He'll pull it back, rather. Over to Lou. Morose gets it right back. Baseline, partially deflected. Somehow the Hawks have just been able to hold on to this basketball despite all this crazy stuff going on down low. Generazio wants some love of his own. He'll get his own second chance. After about 6-7 chances for the Hawks, the whistle finally blows and they'll go to the line.
And I often catch myself putting Johnny and John Jean in the same sentence endlessly. I often refer to them as the Jean twins or Jean brothers simply because their games are so similar. I wouldn't do it if they didn't play identical types of basketball. They both get out in the fast break and they work it to perfection. You can tell that they grew up together on the playground, shooting around and developing very similar styles of basketball.
I'll tell you what, Elias, if the Hawks don't get points off this possession, that had to be done. That had to be done.
They didn't tell me it was going to rain today.
I mean, when you get 10 chances on one side of the court, you're going to have to make a basket. And fortunately for them, it was the 3-ball that gave them a 2-point lead. Now the Lakers get their roll, and it's tied right back up again. 41 apiece, a minute 30 left in overtime. Nolan tries the 3-ball himself short. Here come the Lakers. Little shake and bake by John. Tries to get it to Huggins, but he's fouled. Israel for the Hawks picks up the foul. That's only his second. Lakers to inbound from underneath their basket. Huggins puts it up again, gets it to fall. 2-point lead for the Lakers.
And it's taken till this overtime period for Huggins to really make his presence felt on the offensive glass.
Nolan, he wants to play right here. Looking to try to find the best shot available for himself. Goes all over the place. Ends up finding Lou for the easy 2. Great decision. He was unable to get his own shot off. Found Lou underneath.
And that assist goes to Terrence Nolan. He set up that basket perfectly, weaving under the hoop and finding Lou in the middle of the lane.
After all that craziness, it's 43 apiece. 37.6 ticks on the clock in this overtime. Hawks call a timeout.
With a big heart. Skeleton with a big heart. Ain't nobody skeleton, okay? I got skin, thick skin, but I can only take so much.
Elias, we see the Hawks huffing and puffing right now. It's about that time. Do the Hawks have enough left in their tanks, or do the Lakers have more stamina?
Well, both of these teams have overexerted themselves all game long. As we've said a number of times, it's been a very up-tempo game. And in overtime here, we'll see who has a little bit left in the tank.
Now those are fun.
If you're the Lakers, you have to continue to give Huggins the ball down low because he's finally been able to get good open looks at the basket. And if you're the Hawks, the ball either has to go to Morose or to Nolan. They're two leaders right now.
Instead, Delaware takes the jump shot, and it's well long. Hawks have just over 20 seconds to get a shot off.
And the Hawks coaching staff is calling for Terrence Nolan to set up the possession for a final shot.
Nearly stolen away. Generazio can't get it to fall. Lakers have 5 seconds to get a shot off. Bench does not realize it finally does. And we're going to a second overtime.
I don't even know how much time is left.
Unbelievable.
Elias Bench didn't even realize that there was only less than some odd seconds left in that overtime. And even when he did realize that there was still 2 or 3 seconds left, that he could have settled his shot.
Jim, do we get a raise for this?
A raise from what?
Our monstrous paychecks.
Well, maybe they'll double. I'm certain they will double, if not triple, our salary.
That's very encouraging to hear.
Yes. Well, you know, in this business, working overtime doesn't mean anything. It's part of the business.
Magic was saying the same thing. He goes, I was like, that's your player's fault. That has nothing to do with him. He goes, but I don't get it. I was like, this is the guy who's that was, yeah. He just walked by and said, he's worse than your parents.
Lassou to jump for the Hawks.
And I hope you're not going anywhere because we're about to tip off our second overtime.
Not that good.
Continuing coverage of MNBL action. As Terrence Nolan fires from downtown. Bunch now with the moves. Free throw line jumper, nothing but glass.
Well, Bunch, the difference between him taking it to the basket, well, the two different ways he's done it has been the finger roll and it's been the floater. The floater has worked much better for him.
Nolan trying to respond. Double teamed in the corner by Gene and Delo Acano. Gets it out to Morose. Top of the key. Long range. It's off the mark. And here come the Lakers to start the second overtime. The Lakers on a 4-0 run, but here come the Hawks. Morose off the steal. It looked like he was fouled going towards the hoop, but all ball apparently, and the Lakers will retain possession. Let's bring in one of our fan guests here. He has a slight contribution to the program.
Yes, I have something to say about this talking thing. It's kind of annoying, but the teams are doing very good today. Double overtime. This game's never going to be over. I think they should pass the ball more around. And my name is Steven, and I am out of here.
That's our expert analysis. Of course, we're up for contributions from anyone in the community. As the Lakers up 4 here, Dave Israel down low. Nice post move that time from Israel.
David Israel's a beast. Beasting up like that. I'm throwing them guns.
And you hear it from behind us, an animal move from Israel.
Well, we were able to get Mr. Gary Christensen the other week to join alongside, and he's a very active member of the community.
That one game I almost flipped out.
Being the councilman.
City councilor, ward number 1. The only ward that really matters.
It's number 1.
It's still like 20 minutes left.
Bunch struggles to get it across the timeline. Great defense that time by Morose. And the Hawks drop back into that zone defense, the 2-3 as Huggins gets it down low. We saw him hit that jump shot earlier. And John Jean cleans up his garbage.
Unusual to see the big man miss and the little guy clean up the trash.
And Nolan hits a jump shot right there. Nolan, another big game for the Hawks. Bunch coast to coast, dishes to Jean with a nice little mid-range jumper. A nice smooth touch that time. And 53-49, a 4-point advantage for the Lakers as Nolan goes baseline and the flotation device.
Oh my goodness, he could have hit clouds on that.
Nice pass that time. And Huggins using his size to work the offensive glass.
Well designed there to break the press, and once you take it to the coast, right past that foul line marker, get the bounce pass to the trailer, falling behind you on the strong side. He wasn't able to hit it that time, but Huggins was able to follow through with the rebound. Now he's at the line for his Laker team and extending this lead.
Huggins has struggled from the line. He's just under 30% on the season, and right as I say that, he hits 2 free throws.
Always.
And I mean, it's the Feldman jinx, which the players should really acknowledge as the main cause of their free throw glory at this point.
Oh yeah.
Bunch takes it right down Broadway, gets it back, and he's almost rewarded for his hustle, but he can't hit the easy layup and then commits a foul.
Well, we've noticed today that John Jean has been passing up some of his shots. He got the pass from Bunch down low there and gave it right back to him. He could have had the shot right there. Instead, Bunch took it, ended up missing.
So just under a minute to play here in the second overtime. The Lakers Hawks, 2 teams that really have no chance of making it into the playoffs, but still playing their hearts out here at the Ferryway School in Malden. As Terrence Nolan to the line. Coach Beatty trying to assure that the Hawks don't get an offensive rebound right here. Nolan makes that a moot statement and hits the second free throw. So a 3-point lead for the Lakers. 50 seconds to play in the second overtime. And as John Jean is trapped in the corner, Coach Beanie gets the timeout, and he'll draw up a play here for his young Lakers squad. So the Hawks once again will have to climb a mountain to tie this game up once again. Now Huggins down low. And Israel altered that shot.
Well, the thing about these Hawks, they have wings. They can fly much quicker up this mountain, and they'll have a chance here with possession, only down 3 points.
And how does Huggins keep getting blocked when he's above and beyond, head and shoulders above the rest of the players on the floor?
He's not jumping.
Morose now to Israel. Mid-range jumper doesn't go. Generazio with a big rebound. And he'll go the line for 2. And if you're the Lakers, you just want to keep that clock ticking away. You don't want to send the Hawks to the free throw line.
Generazio can only make it a 2-point game now. He succeeds.
So with 24 seconds to play, you'll expect the Hawks to foul. The Hawks are down 2. They have no other way of stopping the clock right now, but they don't want to foul a bunch. And they, wow. Somehow, Terrence Nolan deflected the ball out of Bunch's hands. And that's exactly what the Hawks coaching staff wanted. They didn't want to foul Bunch, a pretty good free throw shooter. And wow, the Hawks will have a chance to tie or to take the lead here and end the game in double overtime. And Jim, if you're the Hawks, are you trying to get out of here right now at the win, or are you playing for a triple OT?
You're trying to get out of here, Elias.
Of course you're trying to get out of here.
This is the second overtime, my friend.
And in my mind, there's only one player that could take this shot for the Hawks. I'm giving the ball to Terrence Nolan. He's been the team leader all along, all season long. He showed that he has the ability to hit the long jump shot. So I say you run Nolan off a couple of picks here and give him a open look from beyond the arc.
The Hawks team hasn't really run too many picks this season. You got to hope they at least know how to do that. I mean, it seems pretty basic, but it hasn't been a big part of their offense this season.
And if you're the Lakers defensively, you want to stand tall and you don't want to foul. So now the Hawks inbound, down to 5 seconds to play now in overtime. Terrence Nolan takes it all the way to the rack, and he's fouled with 2.3 seconds to play. And this will be a true test of Terrence Nolan's composure. And although he wasn't in the process of shooting, the Lakers are in the double bonus, so Nolan will go to the line for 2 free throws and a chance to tie this game. If he misses the first, a number of other scenarios immediately arise.
Well, he did make that first shot, and now if he makes this second one, it'll be tied all over again.
And an air of confidence surrounds Terrence Nolan right now. And 2 huge free throws. 2 huge free throws. And we're going to triple overtime.
I can't take it.
Unbelievable.
I can't take it anymore.
And Terrence Nolan, he doesn't know what pressure means.
Terrence Nolan defines clutch today, Elias. You can rewrite the Webster's Dictionary and put Terrence Nolan next to clutch.
And I don't want to suggest this just because there's no way it could happen, but is there any possible way that this Lakers-Hawks game could upstage the previous game which we saw, the Celtics-Kings as the game of the week? There's really no way.
Well, the
But we're talking
implications
about a
not.
triple overtime game here, Jim.
They're definitely giving them a run for their money in the game of the week. Yeah, I don't know if the game of the week is allowed to run a 4-hour broadcast. They might, they might have the time constraints with the network. But as far as implications, it's not even close. Entertainment-wise, it's certainly just as high.
Due to time constraints, we're going to move ahead of the action. Nestor Dudley's going to have some additional editing to do if he wants his team to be the game of the week.
We haven't even started Game 3, and it's 4:45, usually the time when Game 3 is supposed to be ending.
And we've got ourselves a ball game. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Tom.
So now Huggins and Israel. Huggins slaps it to Bunch right under his own basket. And the Lakers are off to another strong start in overtime. It seems like they've scored the first few buckets in each of the previous 2 overtimes. But the Hawks have come back under pressure and tied the game up.
I'm surprised to see the hustle and the feet of these, especially the Hawks ball club on that possession in particular. I'm tired just watching these guys play, but the hustle that they continue to put out is just extravagant.
And there's the man with the master plan again, Terrence Nolan, getting the Hawks on the board in this triple overtime. Another 5 minutes. And Generazio is whistled for that foul. Now Nolan is going to try to reset the offense and initiate some sort of play here. We have a tie game, 57 apiece in triple overtime. No one expected this, but it has been quite a contest thus far as Morose is off the mark from downtown. As Lou skies towards the basket, he'll go to the line for 2. A very strong move that time from the Hawks guard.
And Lou's the guy you don't want to be bringing to the line. He has the most experience at the line with 36 attempts going into this ball game. He's just under 40%, but it's just around the average for his team. So there's really no up and down either with who you foul. It's with who's experienced. And Lou is the one that's experienced for this team at the line.
There's no one on this Hawks team that shoots over 50% from the stripe.
He's able to hit there. At least one of 2 gets you the lead, and that's what just happened.
So as the Hawks pick up some sort of backcourt pressure, they are called for the foul. And play starts to get a little sloppy. Guys, understandably, are a little bit sluggish at this point. In triple overtime, we're in the 53rd minute of this ball game. Regulation is normally 40 minutes. Nolan now goes to the left wing. He's long with the jump shot. And Gene is out on the fast break. Here he comes with the right hand. It doesn't go.
Stop going to the right hand if you're going to put it up on the left side.
Generazio with the counterattack. It goes begging. And the Lakers back with the ball again. Bunch gets it to Huggins. Delucano. Whoa! And that is a very, very clutch shot. And the Lakers go up by 1, 59 to 58. And we're going to have to check our record books to see what the record for longest game is in the MNBL.
That's how you do it, Johnny. If you're going to go to the right hand, go to the right side, and that's what he did there.
Down 1, up 3.
So a little deja vu once again. The Lakers up 3, just like they were up 3 with under a minute to play in the previous overtime, the second overtime. And now the Lakers are just going to try to kill some clock, pass the ball around, and the Hawks are going to have to foul.
Lakers are calling a timeout here, and there's really not much else to tell your team. It's just pretty much to get your team settled and composed. They're tired. They need a little bit of rest so they can have as much drive as they can in this final 27 seconds.
And from what we understand, this is only the second triple overtime game in the history of the MNBL, 22 years. And it all comes down to the Lakers and the Hawks, two of the worst teams in the league, towards the end of the season. A game that really does not matter. And it's a very historic game, Jim. So we can get some real good things out of this one, you know?
Certainly doesn't matter in the playoff perspective. Playoffs. But it matters for both of these teams. They can remember this day for a long time if whichever team wins this game. And I guess whichever team loses this game will probably remember it for a long time as well.
So these are some pretty big free throws here for Bunch. He has the chance to make it a two-possession game. 26 seconds to play. Lakers up 3. As Bunch hits the first, he's 27.3% from the line on the season. 6 for 22. But all those numbers are put aside for this free throw right here. He gets 1 out of 2, but it is a two-possession game. The Lakers are up 4, and the Hawks need to get a quick basket.
That was not a good shot at all. He was pretty much just trying to get fouled on that, just driving to the basket, and the refs wouldn't have any of that. They weren't giving him any love.
So all hopes of a fourth overtime are slowly dwindling away and becoming much more slim as the Lakers go back to the free throw stripe with a 4-point advantage. Only 12 seconds to play. And in the third overtime, triple overtime in this contest, this game is now all but over. The Lakers up 5, 12 seconds to play.
Six-point game now. They have to hit 2 threes right away. Well, they're not even going to attempt the 3. They've pretty much just given this game.
So 4-point game as the clock runs out and the horn sounds. So in triple overtime, I can't believe I've said this twice today, but a historic game. Only the second triple overtime game in the history of the 22-year MNBL history.
I can't imagine a better 1-2 punch game weekend to start off this third to last weekend of the Mall Neighborhood Basketball League.
So the Lakers improve their record to 3-8. The Hawks drop to 1-10. They're last place in the MNBL. For Jim Foley, I'm Elias Feldman. Thanks for joining us. What a ball game, folks. Take care.